So I talked about the Pittsburgh Steelers earlier in the show. And look, I gave the Pittsburgh Steelers the benefit of the doubt. I have them as a 9-8 football team. I think they're going to have a winning season just because Mike Tomlin is an amazing head coach. They have a pretty talented roster. The wide receiver core is pretty good. I think Najee Harris is going to actually win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I still think Ben Roethlisberger can get the job done, even though I do think Ben Roethlisberger is trending towards, probably retiring after the 2021 season. But here's the thing. Even though I gave the Steelers the benefit of the doubt, and I have them winning 9 games this year and having a winning season, I do not think the Steelers, I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers are a playoff team in 2021. Okay? Here's the thing. I don't think the Steelers are near the top of the food chain anymore. I think right now Kansas City, Cleveland, Buffalo, Tennessee, I think those teams are clearly better. And I think the Baltimore is honestly better than Pittsburgh. Baltimore has a great defense. Baltimore improved their wide receiver core. Lamar Jackson at this point in his career is a better quarterback than Ben Roethlisberger. I think even Pittsburgh Steelers fans can recognize that. I think Baltimore's better, and Baltimore won a playoff game last year, whereas Pittsburgh got into the playoffs and they choked versus Cleveland. Okay? You look at the Patriots. The Patriots improved tremendously this offseason, okay? I think Mac Jones is pretty good. I think the Patriots are a well-rounded team. Are we sure the Steelers are better than them? You look at the Chargers. The Chargers improved tremendously as well. And they have a real quarterback in Justin Herbert, a head coach in Brandon Staley I believe in. I think the Chargers have a chance to be better than the Steelers. And we're not even talking about teams like the Dolphins and the Broncos, two teams that have absolutely incredibly talented rosters, just questions at quarterback. So I think for the first time in a long time, the Steelers just quite aren't at the top of the food chain. Okay? They're still good. They'll be competent, but the Steelers have some serious questions on the offensive line. They have 4 new starters, young guys that are pretty much unproven, okay? Now, if the Steelers this offseason went out there and addressed the offensive line and made some moves, then I'd say, okay, you know what? Maybe this offensive line will be very good. But the best addition was adding Trey Turner. And Trey Turner is a solid player, but he's not moving the needle for me, people. Okay? I understand that the Pittsburgh Steelers coaching staff will have a huge impact on those young players, but I got to see it to believe it. Also, the Steelers defense loses Bud Dupree, Steven Nelson, Mike Hilton. Their secondary has some questions to me. Outside of Minkah Fitzpatrick and Joe Hayden, I don't think the Steelers have a whole lot of playmakers in that secondary. And you lose a guy like Bud Dupree, who was taking some of the pressure off of T.J. Watt at one point, Now T.J. Watt is easier to double team. So while Pittsburgh has talent, I don't think they're a playoff team in 2021. And listen, I hate to be this guy because I do think Ben Roethlisberger deserves the benefit of the doubt, but I'm not going to give it to him. I think he deserves it, but I'm not going to give it to him because here's the thing. We saw in the final 6 games of 2020, Ben Roethlisberger be pretty bad by his high standards, okay? He was not very good. Versus the Colts, I'll give it to you. He was great. He made plays, but versus Baltimore, versus Washington, versus Buffalo, Cincinnati, and even versus Cleveland, he wasn't very good. And Cleveland and Cincinnati had bad, at times, not great defenses last year. And Ben Roethlisberger really struggled. So Ben Roethlisberger, the guy is 39 years old. Eventually, father time kicks in. And sometimes it just comes out of nowhere. Okay? We saw Peyton Manning have an MVP caliber season with the Denver Broncos. The next minute, he's completely washed. Brett Favre, out of nowhere, started declining. And we saw the signs that Ben Roethlisberger potentially was declining this past year. So, when it comes to Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers, I'm not quite sold on them. That's how I feel. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.